And we are live one more time. One more amazing time. How you doing? How you doing? Following your dreams? I hope you are. I absolutely hope you are. No reason not to, honestly. Nobody else is going to do it for you. You got to do it. That's absolutely true. Let's see how the levels looking. They're looking all right. They're looking all right. So, what are we doing? We're investigating, I guess, right? These trend boards are like America's live brain scan. We got Trump, Iran, San Diego, fires, courts, elections, sports, money, and internet chaos, all spiking at once. I guess from Matt's suggestion, we're going to be using trivium, facts, logic, and clear speech, hopefully, on the quadrivium, numbers, patterns, timing, emotion, and the big picture cycle. What's the translation? We are finding out what happened, why it matters, what people are missing, and what it means next. So hit like, subscribe, join the members, and drop a super chat with your sharpest theory, because this chat is not average. You are the newsroom, the jury, and the pattern detector. All right, POTUS. All right, POTUS. Talk to us, buddy. Talk to us. What's going on?
4 months ago,
the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
well, thank you very much. It's great to be here on this very beautiful day. A lot of very positive things happening. Less than 4 months ago, I stood before you to announce the launch of the trumprx.gov, a brand new website featuring the largest discounts on prescription drugs in the history of our country.
Good man.
History, frankly, of any country. And for decades, Americans paid the highest drug prices anywhere in the world by far. But under the most favored nation agreements I negotiated, we now pay the lowest price paid for anybody in any country. We went from the highest to the lowest, and I think outside of maybe a cure itself, it's the biggest thing to happen to healthcare and everything having to do with medical in any
Fried Frequencies, how you doing, buddy? Hopefully you have a great day. Thank you for the chat.
way, shape, or form. There's never been anything like this. We think of it, we went from the most expensive to the least expensive. So we've slashed the price of dozens of commonly used prescription drugs by differences of 400, 500, and even 600%. In my first term, I got it down 1/8 of 1%. It's the first time in 28 years it went down 1/8 of 1, and now we're talking about 4, 5, and 6, and even 700%, including for weight loss drugs, fertility treatments, insulin, and much, much more. Since that launch in February, trumprx.gov has already been visited more than 10 million times and has saved American consumers over $400 million already, and it's really the hottest thing in medicine.
Hottest.
It's been amazing. I asked Dr. Oz, how's it doing? Bobby was there. He said, nobody's ever seen anything like this, so it's great. People are saving a lot of money. Over the next 10 years, the Council of Economic Advisors estimates that our most favored nation drug policies will save Americans over $500 billion. And this has been the greatest breakthrough in lowering healthcare costs in modern history. But we're just sort of getting started, actually, because we have a lot more to come. So today I'm thrilled to announce that we're increasing the number of drugs available on TrumpRx by nearly 7 times, adding over 600 affordable generics to the website, working with
Civil Defense Program supplies. Lee 84 jumping in on the chat. Could have fixed part of the China stuff he talked about during his Pence VP term. There you go, buddy. There you go. How you doing, Lee? Good to see you in the chat. Do you guys agree with Lee or disagree?
With industry partners. Cost-effective generic drugs are often available at just a tiny fraction of the price of their brand name equivalents, and in theory, they're the same thing. Sometimes they're better, with the same dosage, the same effectiveness, and the same active ingredients, yet many consumers do not think to ask for them. They don't know about.
By the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. There you go. Lee saying good morning to everybody. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good morning.
By incorporating this massive catalog of low-cost generics at trumprx.gov, consumers will now have one source to ensure that they're getting the lowest possible cost on their prescription. So they have a real option now. Today they have something that they've never had before. They've never had anything like this or even close. With these additions, TrumpRx will feature the best and lowest prices on prescriptions used by tens of millions of Americans already. And in some cases, the discounted generics available through TrumpRx may be offered at an even lower cash price than the out-of-pocket insurance cost, which has always been the lowest. But we're going to be lower. This means that the trumprx.gov should always be your first stop before you go to the pharmacy to pick up your prescription, and you'll certainly be checking on your pharmacy by doing this. And at a minimum, you'll know what you're supposed to be paying. I want to thank the leaders of several major pharmacies and generic drug makers who are partnering with us on this effort, including the co-founder of Cost Plus Drugs, Mark Cuban. Mark, thank you very much, Mark. Looking good, buddy. Mark. Come here, Mark. Nice to meet you. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. We have the same thing, one thing in common. We want to make people better and keep them wealthy, right? Good. Good to be with you. Vice President of Amazon Pharmacy, Tanvi Patel. Thank you very much. And the president of our...
Oh, yeah. Fred Frequency says, I wonder how much he's banking off of TrumpRx. What do you guys think? Is he making a lot of money, or is he doing it for the good of the United States civilians? It's safer than the old RX programs that are not safe through CVS pharmacy robberies. There you go. There you go. Coming from Lee 84 himself. Oh, Mike G says TrumpRx is going to be like Trump phone. LOL. There you go.
RX Marketplace at GoodRx, Aaron Crittenden. Aaron, thank you very much. Great job you're doing. With these companies as partners, we're also getting and adding new tools to take over websites which will connect patients with the lowest price pharmacy right in.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal. Seems like it. Lowest price pharmacy. Then we got Cut Off Israel saying, I believe that if we weren't allies with Israel, we'd have saved over 23 trillion US dollars, and more importantly, over 4 million people globally, including over 40,000 Americans, would still be alive. Do you agree or disagree with Cut Off Israel?
Their own neighborhood, or alternatively give them the option of getting a discounted prescription shipped straight to their door. They can have it delivered right to their front door. This will provide American consumers with new options, more savings, and unprecedented price transparency, putting billions and billions of dollars back into the pockets of hardworking Americans.
How you doing, Heart to Heart? Good to see you.
What a difference it's going to make at the end of a week. For generations, drug prices have only gone up, and under my administration, for the first time in history.
There you go, Lee 84 says, I like the idea of them doing phone systems for data collections. Yeah, let me give you my data.
Drug prices are coming down, and they are coming down very, very dramatically and substantially. Politicians from both parties promised for decades to make health care more affordable, but they all failed, every single one of them. And when they thought they had it, they couldn't get other countries to go along. I got all the other countries to come along. I said, you don't come along, we're going to tariff you. And they all said, we'd love to come along, sir. But I'm actually getting it done, and I don't care how I do it. I got to get it done for the people. I want to thank the incredible team behind this historic accomplishment, including Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Bobby, Administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz. What a team this is. And Chief Counselor of Health and Human Services, Chris Klump. And I also especially have to thank the genius behind the world-class website that will soon be serving hundreds of millions of Americans, Airbnb co-founder and chief design officer of the United States, Joe Gebbia, who's really amazing, and Ed Korstein, and the team at the National Design Studio, which is as good as you get. Under my America by Design executive order, Joe and his design team have been working to make your government more beautiful, more modern, convenient, and effective. In addition to the TrumpRx website, they've built the amazing experience behind trumpaccounts.gov and the new food pyramid, Freedom 250, and much more. They're doing a job for the country like I can say design-wise nobody has ever seen. So, Joe, please show us how TrumpRx is bringing the...
Lee84 says, African-American IMPD robbed CVS warehouse in Indianapolis. They use it to make METH. They are bad people. Is that true? My goodness. Horrible. And we got Lynn H jumping in on the chat saying there's always side effects with drugs or other things. There you go. Do you agree or disagree?
The modern face to healthcare and really helping us to save lots of money and lots of lives. Joe, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. In just months, TrumpRx has accomplished what Washington said couldn't be done. Those numbers you shared represent huge savings at real scale for real Americans. And none of this would be possible without your leadership and your belief that Americans deserve better health.
Americans do deserve better health, 100%. And better health starts with fitness and a good nutrition plan. Absolutely. And we got Gator Chris jumping in the chat saying some Americans hate Trump more than they love America. That is absolutely true, unfortunately. And we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, become a member, and throw in a super chat so we can bring out Veronica.
So today's great announcements of more drugs, more pharmacies, and home delivery are making healthcare simpler and smarter.
There you go. John J. Ocampo says, how dare you make my prescriptions cheaper? How dare you saving me money?
For Americans. Let's go live to the new TrumpRx experience. So that $400 million saved for Americans, that means better living and less stress for millions of families. So let's browse some of those medications. Immediately, you'll see a new section called Presidential Deals. These are some of the most affordable brand name drugs in America, made possible thanks to our president's legendary deal making. So let's take a look at a few of these. This is Foundayo, the new GLP-1 pill, 77% off. This is the insulin medication, 72% off. This is Trulicity, 61% off. These are life-changing savings for millions of Americans. Now, search also got smarter too. You can now look up brand name drugs and see the generic version. Let's try a brand drug named Glucophage. It's for diabetes and it costs around $20. So search now shows the lower cost option, metformin. Metformin has the same active ingredients, but now watch this. The price, $8.42. So you found an affordable price. Now where do you get it? You can find your trusted pharmacy in one search. Watch how easy this is. I'll use mine. Capsule Pharmacy. Boom, there it is. Now, we also created another way to find the best price. Introducing Map Search. For the first time, you can see chain and local independent pharmacies on the same map.
We got Pamela Foss jumping on the chat saying, I wish Trump would tell the truth. Like, I'm teaming up with billionaires. I'm going to make a buttload of money. And you guys out there can sit and spin. What do you mean by sit and spin? Do you agree or disagree with Pamela?
So here's my location. I see an option here at a pharmacy for $18 and a block away, $8.42. Now you can compare for the best medicine prices, as easy as it is to compare hotels.
Paul saying Rachel Maddow is now sleeping with Trump. Oh my goodness. Are there pictures or videos? Let's see.
Or Airbnbs or baseball tickets. This is simple, transparent healthcare pricing. So when I find what I'm looking for, I take this coupon, show it to the pharmacist, and I get the TrumpRx price. That simplicity is why TrumpRx has taken off nationwide. Okay, there's one more thing. Today, we added new partners for fast home prescription delivery. I can actually get this medicine to my door in a day or so. So from search to savings to satisfaction, this is healthcare built for modern life. You compare prices on flights. Why not medicine? Don't just fill your prescription, TrumpRx it. Because the strongest nation on earth, America, starts with the healthiest people on earth. Mr. President, back to you.
That's right.
Great job. Beautiful. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Really amazing the job you've done, and so quickly. Now I'd like to ask Secretary Kennedy to say a few words, and Dr. Oz and Mark Cuban and Chris Klump, and we'll take a couple of questions maybe at the end. Thank you. Bobby, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The epidemic of chronic disease in this country is now existential. If you include my agency plus Social Security and the VA, Americans now spend 48 cents out of every dollar that we spend in federal taxes now go to health care. 90% of that is for chronic disease. And those costs are increasing at 2% at greater speed than the GDP. In addition to that, it poses an existential threat to our national security. 77% of American kids cannot qualify for military service. President Trump has pledged to end the chronic disease epidemic, but in the meantime, many people need medications to treat their chronic disease. And President Trump has asked us to make our country, the most affordable medication in the world, and he succeeded in doing that. And I want to say one last thing. President Bush promised to do this. President Clinton promised to do it. President Biden promised to do it. President Obama promised to do it. President Trump actually got it done.
There you go.
And it's an extraordinary accomplishment.
Lee 84, I think that's the LED screen behind Bobby Kennedy Jr. And that's not from my side. That's from their side. So, yeah. But good notice. And we got Mr. Rick 74 jumping down the chat. How you doing, buddy? Saying people sit here and gripe about Donald Trump every day. He knows what he's doing. People need to relax a little bit. There you go. Do you guys disagree or agree with Mr. Rick 74? We're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat.
It's an extraordinary legacy for him, and it's a gift to the American people. And I want to thank you again for your vision and for your determination.
This is yet another example of this administration, of the president's leadership, making life more affordable. And it's in a particularly important arena because almost 1 in 3 Americans, when they go to a drugstore, cannot afford to pick up the medications that their doctor prescribed for them. And part of the reason for that, which the president recognized early on and pushed hard until it got done, because it was a force of his personality that allowed us to go to all the major pharmaceutical companies representing the vast majority of the marketplace of branded drugs in America. But what he realized was we're paying 3 times more for the exact same drugs made in the same facilities, often in this country, than people overseas are paying for those exact same drugs. Whether it's weight loss drugs, fertility drugs, you name it, we're overpaying for it. President wanted that stopped. He wanted it stopped now. And so he did it. The most favored nation drug pricing approach works using a variety of techniques that he outlined, but we needed to make sure you had an ability to access these drugs. TrumpRx.gov is a phenomenon. Over 10 million people have visited the site. It is the fastest site of its kind I've ever seen. As a physician who's used to looking at medications and having no idea what the patient will pay, it's as transparent as you just saw, built by the fantastic team with Joe Gebbia. They started with dozens of medications, Mr. President, which is the number.
We got DD Sarasan saying TrumpRx will help make Trump richer. Yeah, absolutely. Most likely. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? What do you think, chat?
Number of medications that had been negotiated by Chris Klump and the team at HHS. Today, 601 more medications were added. 601 more. As the president said, 7 times more drugs are now in this list, which means something really important. You should not buy a drug in America without first checking the best transparency site ever created for medications to make sure you're not being taken advantage of. You wouldn't go grocery shopping without knowing prices. You wouldn't buy a car without knowing prices, lease an apartment or anything else. You shouldn't do it with the medications that could save your life. We believe that more than half of all the prescription interactions in America are now going to be revealed on TrumpRx. If you wish to use the site in any capacity, this is the time to start. It's a technological feat. It's created transparency with no middlemen, just what the president promised. And for that,
we got a super chat from none other than the legendary Jason Beatrice saying, ignore the left and move forward, just like Trump. That's right. 100%. Veronica, come here. Tell Jason you love him.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
There you go. Go on and do your push-ups, girl. Stay in shape so you don't need TrumpRx. Thank you so much. W's in the chat for Jason Beatrice, y'all. There you go. Be like Jason Beatrice. What a kind man.
For that reason, we ask you today to go look at the site, trumprx.gov. Ask us to put you on our mailing list. So when the team at the National Design Studio wants to contact you about
Waffle Jackson, how you doing, brother? Good to see you.
New medications that are being offered, new ways for you to save money, new ways for you to make health more affordable. So your zip code doesn't determine your health. You'll have trumprx.gov to go to. Mark Cuban has been an outspoken advocate for more transparency in medications. He built a business around it, and he's one of the companies that's joining us now to put their products on trumprx.gov. Mark?
Thank you for having me, Mr. President.
NI Agro, how you doing, buddy?
I think other than you, I've been the biggest proponent of trumprx.com. And the reason for that is Republicans want cheaper drugs, independents want cheaper drugs, Democrats want cheaper drugs, and together, I think we're going to do.
Is that Mark Cuban? Yeah, Mark Cuban. He did start that. I've got a funny thing I got to show y'all.
Something special. What makes Cost Plus Drugs different is that when you click through TrumpRx to our site, not only will you see a great price, but you'll see our actual cost and that we only mark it up 15%. And what makes this incredible, Mr. President, all the volume and all the people that are going to come from the site, as our volumes go up, our costs go down.
Only 15%. That's very good. Very, very good for comparing to what a lot of these other companies are doing. I'm just trying to be accurate here. You know, like, do you guys actually think this is good? I hope it is. That's what I hope, 100%.
Which means we'll be ending up charging less to people over a period of time. So this is a special announcement. This is a special partnership. 559 of those drugs are ours, so we're really excited to be part of this. Thank you so much for having me. And I'll turn it over to Chris Clown. Thank you.
So you've just heard about the addition of generic medications on TrumpRx, which is fantastic. TrumpRx is now the true single source of truth for the lowest prices for American families on their prescription medications. But what matters even more is what comes next. So we are on an irreversible trajectory. An American family right now taking a GLP-1 will save this year, right now, about $1,800.
All right, y'all. So you saw that was Mark Cuban, right? And one thing that was so curious to me, I was like, wait, what's going on? Mark Cuban.
Hey, Mark Cuban.
Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, not that one.
$100 less than they would have 4 months ago before the advent of TrumpRx.gov. An American family trying to conceive and needing fertility medications will save nearly $6,000 per live birth right now, thanks to TrumpRx.gov. That's nearly $5
All right, so here's Mark Cuban calling Donald Trump the most unethical person, which is just
Thank you for your support.
a little curious to me.
I love you.
Yeah, Veronica loves you. Calling him the most unethical and then jumping on board. This just goes to show you, like, you can't get too angry with politics or any of that type of stuff, because when money gets involved and it's beneficial for both parties, Pam. Best friends, what's happening?
Demonize and give credit to nobody else. And that is the antithesis of good leadership. That's the antithesis of good character. That's the antithesis of being ethical. That's who Donald Trump is. I've known him for 25 years. I'm never going to say we were best friends, but he is the most unethical, lacks character, dishonest person I've ever done business with or worked with.
Why does that matter, though? Like, people are going
to... What do you think, man? What do you think? And when was this? This is 1 year ago. Oh man. Whenever the money's right, that's what happens, you know? They say follow the money. Very interesting. But he did have shining words for Trump.
I'm going to look at that and say, I don't care. He's an
I do, yeah.
But he's ours.
He's my yeah. Character is destiny. Right? You don't know. The one thing about the presidency of the United States, you don't know what's coming next.
Oh, we got Jason Beatrice jumping in on the super chat saying UK citizens were chanting Trump, Trump, Trump. There you go. There you go. Veronica, come here. Tell Jason Petrus you love him.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best. Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Veronica loves Jason Petrus. Everybody loves Jason Petrus. W's in the chat for Jason. And that is true. That is true. UK citizens were chanting Trump, Trump, Trump. There you go. And a lot of citizens, UK citizens, want Trump to go over there after his term in the United States, man. So there you go. What do you think about that, chat?
The past is no predictor of the future. You have no idea what the next problem is you have to deal with on a small or large basis, like COVID for that matter, right? And you want somebody who has character, because that has empathy, that has a willingness to learn and understand. And you want somebody that is ethical when it comes to making difficult decisions. I can't even imagine why people consider Donald Trump because of his lack of character and ethics. Because when that tough time comes to make a decision, he's only going to listen to himself. And we've seen how that works out. We saw it worked on the debate. And that tells you all you need to know. You don't want somebody like that dealing with the uncertainty. And as bad as lack of ethics, lack of character, lack of honesty is, the fact that he makes no effort to learn anything. This is one of the few human beings on the planet that get dumber in front of our face every single day.
There you go, Libs. Do you agree with him? Man, oh man.
Thank you for your support. I love you.
Oh, Veronica just wants to
Wishing
jump
you
out
and
again.
your family the best.
There you go. Thank you so much, Jason Beatrice. You're the best, man.
$1 billion going to the pockets of hopeful parents.
And what do you guys think about that? Mark Cuban just changing sides. There you go. Mr. Rick 74 saying Trump haters are always going to hate.
For the next decade. So how do we achieve this? By proving that in America, you can do well by doing good. TrumpRx has created a revolutionary vehicle for a true public-private partnership. Private innovators are stepping up to the plate, and they're doing it not just because it's the right business decision, but it's the right moral decision. So to accelerate this process.
Oh, Joe Mama says Americans consume 54% of all pharmaceuticals produced. Americans are far from healthy. Maybe we don't need those pills. Yes, yes. Thank you for your chat, Joe Mama. What do you think we need? What do you think we need?
Yes, we will continue focusing on three things, the same three things we talked about you in our last conversation on most favored nation pricing led by the president. First, we continue to bring additional industry partners on board. Last time we had a conversation with you about MFN, we put out a call to small and mid-sized biotechnology manufacturers and pharmaceutical companies to come sit with us to make their product portfolios available at MFN prices. We said that we would be fair and we would be reasonable, and the industry has answered that call. We've been inundated with demand for discussions to ensure that every American family can continue to access MFN prices, not just for the companies that have been negotiated, but for the many that are yet to come. Number two, as the president mentioned, we are continuing to negotiate international trade agreements. Those are well underway, working lockstep with our partners at Trade and at Commerce. And number three, legislation. We are continuing discussions on the Hill with Congress to ensure that the president's great healthcare plan lasts for decades to come, guaranteeing greater affordability, greater accountability, greater transparency for every American family. It turns out, as Mark said, there is appetite on both sides of the aisle to make progress on this important point. When a parent goes to the pharmacy, they're not thinking about political ideology. They're thinking about what's best for their family. And today, leaders across the spectrum, irrespective of their party, are standing together because Americans demand affordable health care, and it's an American imperative. This president has set us on a course to permanently benefit from lower drug prices as a country. The foundation is built, the market is engaged, the future is affordable, and I yield the podium back to the man who made all this possible. Thank you, Mr. President.
Would you like to say something? You're over there. You look so beautiful and nice. You two, come on over here. Just say a couple of words about.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. What a gentleman. You look so beautiful. You look so nice. Come here. Come here. Say something. Say something. All right. So we got numbers that matter. The site advertises examples like Wegovy pill, $149 a month versus $1,349 original price. All right. W for TrumpRx there. Hate Trump or love him. If he's saving you $1,200, you're going to like him, I guess, right? Per pill. Goodness gracious. Ozempic, $199 a month versus $1,028. We have Zepbound, $299 a month versus $1,087 US dollars. The site also claims $400 million US dollars saved for Americans, though that claim should be judged against independent audits over time. So as you know, we're always just trying to gather the truth and give you the truth over here, trying to find the patterns. Would I use it if I needed it? Absolutely. If I hated Trump? Absolutely. If I liked Trump? Absolutely. Why not? What do you think, Chet? Would you use this or would you not use it? Oh, stop moving on me. Won't you just stop moving on me? There we go. I'm trying to find what the bad part is. So is it a good idea? Yeah. Good tool sometimes. Big and national solution? Not yet. So from what I gather, TrumpRx is useful if it actually lowers the price in your hand at the pharmacy counter, right? So we gotta compare it, what the out the door cost would cost at CVS and then what it would cost through trumprx.gov. I guess, but don't clap for the website. Clap for the receipt, right? You need that receipt. The real test is simple. Does the patient pay less? Does it count toward insurance? And is there a cheaper generic someplace else? Something that does the same thing. Oh, there we go. We got Chinese president gave a shout out to MAGA. There you go, bro. There you go. How good is MAGA if the president of China is shouting them out, buddy? Absolutely. Absolutely. Veronica, come back and tell Jason how much you love him.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Jason, amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, buddy. So much. All right. So maybe the weak structure, it adds another layer to an already messy system. Insurance, PBMs, coupons, manufacturer discounts, GoodRx, cost plus drugs, pharmacies, deductibles, KFF warrants that patients now have to compare many moving parts, and TrumpRx ads could lead some people to pay more than they would have through insurance or a generic alternative. So there we go. I'm trying to find the good, trying to find the bad, trying to bring the best to you, my viewers, because I love you. The Lord loves you. Trump also probably loves you because he wouldn't be doing this if he didn't. Unless he's getting paid quite a bit, right? One of those things. But now we know the words that came from this gentleman, Mark Cuban.
As character?
What we know about Trump. So they're working together now. You know, maybe Mark Cuban just misunderstood him. Maybe we all are just misunderstanding Trump.
Thank you, Mr. President, for having Amazon here today. It's really great to work with the administration and the NDS on building TrumpRx. At Amazon Pharmacy, it's been our mission to build a pharmacy with price transparency from day one. And it's been our mission to make sure that Americans who need their medications know how much they're going to pay out of pocket for brand or generic medications. It's what we're built around, whether you're paying cash or insurance. And we look forward to continuing to innovate on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
I'm going to move this up just slightly. Thank you for having us on behalf of GoodRx. Look, we have shared mission as everyone up here to deliver healthcare that's affordable to every American. We couldn't be prouder by what you're doing and be part of it. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. Any questions of these brilliant people? Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. Yes. The white? Yes.
Mr. President, on the IRS,
they're giving a briefing on it a little while at the mosque. They're giving a briefing, and it's a terrible situation. I've been given some early updates, but we're going to be going back and looking at it very strongly. Yeah, please.
Justice Fund created $1.7 billion.
Can you speak a little bit about your pulse on True
Excuse
Social?
me?
Can you speak a little bit about your pulse on True Social on Iran, and what was the decision that why you didn't attack it?
Well, other countries have come to me and they've said we were getting ready to do a very major attack tomorrow. I put it off for a little while, hopefully maybe forever, but possibly for a little while, because we've had very big discussions with Iran, and
That's
we'll
good.
see what they amount to. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days, a short period of time, because they think that they are getting very close to making a deal. And if we can do that where there's no nuclear weapon going into the hands of Iran, I think, and if they're satisfied, we will be probably satisfied also. We've informed Israel. We've informed other people in the Middle East that have been involved with us. And, it's a very positive development, but we'll see whether or not it amounts to anything. We've had periods of time where we thought pretty much getting close to making a deal, and didn't work out, but this is a little bit different. Now, we're ready going tomorrow, very big, and not something I wanted to do, but we have no choice because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Yeah. Please.
The Justice Department has this new fund that was announced today, $1.7 billion.
Yeah.
Why should taxpayers pay for the January 6th?
Well, it's been very well received, I have to tell you. I know very little about it. I wasn't involved in the whole creation of it and the negotiation. But this is reimbursing people that were horribly treated. It's anti-weaponization. They've been weaponized. They've been, in some cases, imprisoned wrongly. They paid legal fees that they didn't have. They've gone bankrupt. Their lives have been destroyed. And they turn out to be right. I mean, it was a terrible period of time in the history of our country. And they worked on it. I know the Justice Department, it's really been working on it very hard. There's been numerous other occasions over the years where things like this have been done. But these were people that were weaponized and really treated brutally by a system that was so corrupt, with corrupt people running it, and they're getting reimbursed for their legal fees and the other things that they had to suffer. Yeah, please. Daniel, go ahead. Hold it, Daniel, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's pretty remarkable seeing you and Mark Cuban up there, and the fact that obviously Mark endorsed Kamala Harris back in 2021.
Well, he made a mistake. It was a big mistake.
What does this say about what you two are building here?
Well, it says we love people, we love our country. He's got a good company, and he's going to do a lot of business with this. And I'm going to get drugs out through Amazon, through the whole group, and we're going to get drugs out. And Mark wanted to be a part of it. And I think Mark
was Bezos at that thing at the China summit, getting drugs out of Amazon too. There you go. Very convenient, fast shipping.
He was very gracious. He said, this is something that really works. The first time you've seen it. And he had to believe that if he said it about me. You have to understand that. But look, I think I have a lot of respect for Mark, frankly, and I always have.
And then, sir,
Yeah. Go ahead, Ebola. You said Ebola.
Yeah. Should Americans be concerned about Ebola?
I'm concerned about everything, but certainly am. I think that, it's been confined right now to Africa, but it's something that has had a breakout. I could ask Bobby or Oz to say a couple of words about it if you'd like. Want to do that?
I think Heidi Overton is going to come up and give us a few words here. Dr. Overton.
Heidi Overton, doctor.
Thank you, Mr.
Let's
President.
see it. Let's hear it. All right.
Today, the CDC held a press briefing that provided a lot of the answers and information, but we have stood up a full interagency response. The Department of State, the CDC, the Department of War, everyone is fully involved in tracking. Today, we do have an announced today at the press briefing. There is an American that is symptomatic and has tested positive for it's the Bundibuja virus, a strain of Ebola. That American, as well as 6 other high-risk contacts, are going to be taken out of that region and taken to Germany. We want to thank our German counterparts. That is an internationally recognized location for viral hemorrhagic fever treatments. So we're very grateful that they would take them. It's a significantly shorter flight time for Americans to receive treatment there in Germany. For all other Americans, we have issued travel warnings. We have instituted just today entry restrictions for non-U.S. citizens that have been in the region in the past 21 days. So in Uganda, Democratic Republic of Congo, and South Sudan. So very serious measures that have been taken. We are working to communicate very frequently with everyone. Your question was, should Americans be worried? Right now, there are no cases of Ebola in America. We want to keep it that way, and we are doing everything we can to support Americans in the region. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, so I got somebody who was jumping in on the chat and saying that Americans consume 54% of all pharmaceuticals produced. We are far from healthy. Maybe we don't need those pills. And just got to give you a correction. No, that exact claim is not accurate. It sounds like a distorted version of a real problem, right? So that's not the truth. The more accurate version is Americans pay about half of global prescription drug revenue, but use a much smaller share of the actual drug volume. So we're paying way more than everybody else in the world, and we're using way less. We got some real numbers. About 49.9% of Americans used at least one prescription drug in the past 30 days. 24.7% used 3 or more, and 13.5% used 5 or more in 2017. All right, according to the CDC data. So in 2021, CDC reported that 60% took at least one prescription medication, and 36% took 3 or more than one medication. So yeah, that claim that 54% is probably fake or badly twisted. The real scandal is much sharper. America does not consume half the world's pills. America pays about half the world's prescription drug money. That tells you less about our biology and more about our pricing system.
President Trump, over here. President Trump.
Go ahead, on Iran.
Yes, follow up on Iran. Other countries have done this before. They have asked you to change course in order to they dangled a peace deal in front of you saying one was coming. Nothing has come into fruition. You mentioned this.
Well, a lot's come into fruition. We've taken a country that was going to have a nuclear weapon, and we've virtually destroyed its military. They have no navy. They have no air force. They've been virtually destroyed militarily. That's a lot. That's a big. We could leave right now. It would take them 25 years to rebuild. And the last thing they're thinking about, I think, is nuclear. Now they have to put it down in writing. But when you say nothing, we've totally.
We got Waffle Jackson jumping on the chat saying Prime Minister Trump 2029. Do you agree or disagree? How amazing would that be? What would it be like? Make UK great again? Muckga?
Totally destroyed, excuse me, from CNN. We've totally destroyed their military. We've destroyed their leadership. As you know, their leaders are gone. Their leaders are gone at the first level. The second level, we're dealing with half of the third level. And I think we've made a lot of progress. And it's very simple. You know, we don't want to go through this. We had the greatest economy ever. We still do. The stock market hit a brand new high a little while ago. I never thought that was going to happen. We had to make the excursion. You know, we hit 50,000 on the Dow. We hit 7,000 on the S&P, and everyone said that couldn't be done within my 4 years. It would be too big. Well, we did it in my first year. And then I called Scott and Howard. I called them all into my office. I said, we're going to take a little excursion down to the Middle East, and we're going to confront Iran because they are desperate to have a nuclear weapon. And the only reason they want it is to use it. And I said, I hate to do this because we're doing so well, but this is the most important thing we can do. We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. So we did that. And when we did that, we were met with a little force, and we ended up...
Met with a little force? Oh, my goodness. But they persisted.
Did anyone drop a super chat or become member yet?
Oh, Jason Beatrice did. Oh, yeah. But we didn't get any members yet. Are we going to get one?
Please support this channel, drop a super chat, and become a member.
All right, girl. All right. All right. You just drop that kitty right there if you want. And I guess that might bring back some memories to Super Orangish, who brought up the word kitty, but in a different way earlier about Trump grabbing something. There you go.
Ended up destroying them. We now have a tremendous, we built really a steel wall where no boats to blockade, where no boats are able to, not one boat has been able to get through our blockade. Look, our military is the greatest military anywhere in the world. I just left China, and I will say President Xi was very, very complimentary of our military. He was amazed, actually, at our military. We have the greatest military in the world. We're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. So I was called by these three countries, plus others, and they're dealing directly with our people and, right now, Iran. And there seems to be a very good chance that they can work something out. If we can do that without bombing the hell out of them, I'd be very happy. Please.
Sir, on weaponization, I have a question on weaponization. Do you believe that people...
We got Jason Beatrice jumping on the chat saying, how can people insult these guys? Look up who the guys behind Trump replaced. Very, very good point. Very good point. Do you agree or disagree?
Who committed violence against Capitol Hill police officers on January 6th should be eligible for compensation from this DOJ fund? And are you or your family members going to be seeking compensation from that fund?
It'll all be dependent on a committee. A committee's being set up of very talented people, very highly respected people. I think it's a committee.
Highly respected. That's great. Don't worry about it. 74 says, you always have to keep your enemies close. People that hate Trump obviously don't know what's going on behind the scenes. That's the reason they female dog and whine every day. There you go. Coming directly from Don't Worry About It 74. Do you agree or disagree? We're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat.
Committee of 5. And again, I didn't do this deal. It was told to me yesterday. They said they're doing something. I do believe there has to be compensation for people that were destroyed. You have families absolutely destroyed, and it's all going to be determined by a committee of 4 or 5 people that are.
We got Lou Skunt coming in hot saying, why is your argument always, what about the people before and nothing on its current merit? Can you explain your stance? We'd like to know more about your stance, buddy. Thank you for jumping in on the chat. We got Jason Beatrice saying, I love Super Orange. She is the only Democrat that doesn't say racist slurs to me. Oh, that's so nice. So nice.
They're respected and very brilliant at what they do. Yeah, please. Go ahead, please. No, one at a time, please. In the blue, yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
In the blue, yes. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On election integrity, so a lot of Republicans, including you, are speaking out against a massive mail-in ballot era in Maryland primary election.
Terrible.
How concerned are you about election integrity as Americans are heading into the midterms?
I'm very concerned about it. I'm very concerned about mail-in ballots. We're the only country in the world that's doing mail-in ballots, and mail-in ballot is, by just the nature of it, it's going to be corrupt. So many people handle it. You go into a well-run voting booth in a certain state, we'll pick a state, but you go into, and I mean, they look, even me, I went in Florida and went to vote, and they said, sir, I hate to do it. I'm so embarrassed. Could I see your identification? I said,
that's amazing. That's amazing. That's a great story right there. Sir, can I please just see your identification? And another question is it good if President Xi likes the U.S. military? Yeah, but only if likes means respects and avoids war, right? And no if it means he studied it to beat it. So that's a pretty tight one, I guess, Yeah. If he likes it enough not to mess around. But if he likes it like a chess player likes studying your best move, then no, that means he's not admiring it. He's preparing for it. So it's very good to kind of understand what is happening with all of these remarks, because sometimes these politicians will say things and they want you to think something else. But in the future, they're like, hey, remember when I said that? Do you remember? The real reason I said that is because of this. And then shots of whiskey and laughter ensues, or whatever it is, shots of water and push-ups,
Really? Do you really want to do that? Please, sir. I'll lose my job if I don't do it. I was very proud to hand her identification and everything else. I mean, you want to have proof of citizenship. You want to have a voter ID. You want to have all these things. But to me, maybe the worst of all is the mail-in ballots where they come in. So, as you know, in Maryland, 500,000 fake ballots were sent out. When they were caught, they said, oh, we'll pull them back. And they issued 500,000 new ballots. And as you know, they never got the original ballots back. So there are 1 million ballots out there. Many of them went to Democrats, and it's a very serious thing. And I'll tell you, I've looked at Maryland for a long time, and I know Maryland.
We got Trailer Shift jumping in on the chat saying the illusion that your vote counts. Do you agree or disagree? Chat, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want to talk to us, POTUS.
Went pretty well. And I was told that it's automatically a Democrat state. And I don't believe that because I think I did really well there. And I don't believe it. But they issued, as you just got caught recently, 500,000 ballots, illegal ballots were sent out, and they were totally fraudulent. And then they said, oh, we'll pull them back. Well, they didn't pull them back. And they have 500,000 new ballots go. So what happens to the original? Are they going to come in? And are they going to come in and infect our system? So it's a very, very serious.
Oh, here we go. We got Pumpkey Ono saying in Australia, I get Ozempic for $7.50 per month. The lowest cost on TrumpRx list is $200. It's grift, you morons, lies. Pumpkiono. All right, cool. Thank you for that. When you pay $7.50 per month, are you paying for one pill, a number of pills? Can you kind of clarify what's going on? We definitely want to know the truth. Thank you for jumping in on the chat.
Serious thing that's happened, and I've asked the law enforcement to look at it very, very strenuously. I want to thank you all. We're so proud of it, and I want to thank Bobby and Oz and Mark and all of the people that are here. And Joe, great job. You are really something. I heard about you for a long time, and now you're doing something that's more important than anything you've ever done, and you've done some beauties. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
What a gentleman. What a gentleman. There you go. All right. So we had something in regards to this guy back here, Mr. Bobby Kennedy. Let's see. Who was it from? Somebody said. Yeah, check who Bobby Kennedy replaced. Was it Xavier Becerra? All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. All right, and who was the previous one before that? And let's grab this one. There you are. And I'll pull that up for you in a sec. But let's see what Gaza does with all the rubble.
About 15 Great Pyramids of Giza, or 186 Empire State buildings. This is the equivalent of more than 70 million tons of rubble that Israel left in our cities and streets, shuttered, choking us like silent death. The removal of the rubble is connected to the reconstruction phase, the same phase that Israel rejects. Israel announces this rejection by preventing fuel, heavy machinery and vehicles, the reconstruction projects and materials from entering to Gaza. Also, by bombing some vehicles that already remain in Gaza, but removing some rubble without a previous coordination with the IOF. 2 rubble dumps, causing environmental hazards, waste of space, and unsustainable solutions.
أنا جاي عبيتي أنا بعد ما انقصف أستصلح بعض الشغلات إنه أنا أقدر أقود فيها أيامي والأيام اللي جاية.
شو الأدوات المستخدمة حالياً لرفع الركام، يعني مع أدوات يدوية ولا أدوات ثقيلة ولا شو المتوافر؟
أقل من المستطاع، شغلات يعني بدائية كتير، يعني إحنا منموت لما نطول الشغلة اللي إحنا بدنا إياها.
شو بتطوله يعني؟
كل شيء بنلاقيه صالح بنطوله.
زي إيش؟
زي مثلا هواية، مكواية، بلوزة، ثلاجة، اي شغله بنلاقيها كويسه بناخدها مش كويسه هي قدامك في مثلا شغلات كلها هذه راحتها كلها راحت.
طب وانت كيف بتندل على الغرض اللي بدك اياه؟ يعني كيف تعرف وين تدور؟
Man, what a tough and sad job. You got to go through the rubble and just try to find things to survive.
بيتي ذكرياتي فيها يعني بعرف كل حجر فيها كل إشي فيها هي بس هو البيت إحجار ذكريات هذا كذا هذه الغرفة كذا هذه البنات هذا الأولاد سبحان الله بتلاقيني إيش على طول
عارف وين بدك تدور على الشغلة
بالضبط.
All right, we got Pump Kiono saying Ozempic comes in a pen like insulin. It holds 4 injections, 1 per week for a month. Okay, so for 1 month's worth, you paid, I think you said $750. Is that accurate? Yeah, $750 per month on TrumpRx. It's listed as $200. Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
ولاد احنا عايشين هنا حوالين الركام. احكوا لي شو رايكم في الركام؟ شو بخوف الركام ولا بخوفش الركام؟
بخوف كثير مش منيح.
ليش مش منيح؟
وبنخاف نطلع عليه.
ايش بخوف في الركام؟
الأحجار والردم وبنخاف واحد يقع.
وعمره وقع حدا إشي؟ وشو بيطلع من تحتيه؟
رمل وحجر. احنا بنطلع خشب.
All right, so we'll see what's going on over here. We have
Thank you for your support.
Trump. Thank you, Veronica. Let's see if we can see this better. Here's the Ozempic pen. And here it's for 0.25 milligrams or milliliters, 0.5 milliliters. How many times have you taken Ozempic pen? 0 to 1. Okay, whatever. TrumpRx price is $199 instead of $828. Let me see why this is. Okay. All right. So there we go. It's $199 here on trumprx.gov. And if you can you send me a screenshot, Pump Kiono, to my Discord channel? I'll send you a link to the Discord. Just drop it in there, and then I'll pull it up on the screen just to show you guys. Because we're trying to get absolute accurate information for everybody here. And thank you for helping out the chat. And if anyone has anything to combat that, let me know.
يعني نبيح.
لما نشيله أحسن ولا لو هو ضايل أحسن؟
لا لما نشيله أحسن.
ليش بدنا نشيله؟
عشان نصير غازة منيحة نعمل مخيمات ودور. ونعيش بعيشة حلوة.
Sometimes INGOs convert small amounts of this rubble into gravel so we can use it in the destroyed roads. But again, this is not sustainable and we need a real solution. A solution that we can name a real reconstruction phase.
Oh my gosh. So tough, man. Just look at that whole situation. Absolutely horrible, man. Horrible. All right, so there's allegedly some hidden workers with OpenAI, ChatGPT. Let's see what's going on over here.
I definitely worked on ChatGPT. I definitely worked on Gemini. I'm shown, like, honestly, some like things that humans should never really witness.
The AI job crisis is here, but it's not what you've been told.
You've said AI can spike unemployment to 10 to 20% in the next 1 to 5 years.
Yes. Tech CEOs talk about a future in which AI systems will soon do away.
Okay, Pump Kiono says TrumpRx at $200 is a discount from full US retail of $1,000 per month. But come to Australia for $7.50. There you go. Direct from people from down under. Awesome. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, buddy, for jumping in on the chat.
Away with the need for human labor. But this rhetoric conceals a more sinister reality. While AI is triggering layoffs, its development is also driving the rapid growth of a new kind of worker.
I could set alarms for specific jobs, and if that alarm went off in the middle of the night, I was up, and I would work until the tasks ran out.
It's a hidden workforce, which Silicon Valley first recruited in low-wage countries, with college graduates making up a record share of the unemployed. Data annotation and AI training are among the fastest growing jobs in the US. So I set out to talk to these workers. I wanted to know, how is AI actually affecting work in this country?
So I'm essentially just working as an anxious rabbit the entire process. Like, will this end tomorrow?
And how do we make sure AI works for all of us, rather than so many of us having to work for AI?
The kind of inequality that we're talking about here could be something we've never experienced.
Very interesting.
I was talking to my mom and I just started crying. I'm like, I can't see where this money is coming from.
Jen is an Ivy League PhD graduate from a small southern town. Jen is not her real name. Like most people we talk to, she asked to be anonymous for fear that tech companies could retaliate.
Well, I highly doubt they want this information public.
Last year, as she was wrapping up her degree, she started looking for a job.
You start off like, this is my goal, I know I'm qualified for it, then it just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. Over the past year, I've applied to over 200 roles and I got maybe 3 callbacks.
Graduates today are facing the worst job market in years. To make ends meet, Jen got on food stamps, moved in with her sister, and started working for $15 an hour.
We got Barney Bell saying you use the rubble to make nice roads for the new tenants in Gaza. Do you agree or disagree? We're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat. Thank you so much.
As a cashier and substitute teacher. Then she saw a job posting on LinkedIn for $55 an hour.
I think the role I saw was philosophy intelligence analyst. I'm looking, I'm like, well, why wouldn't I be able to do that?
After applying, she got a job interview, but not with a human.
Let's start by discussing the languages you speak.
I am fluent in English and Chinese, and I consider English to be my primary native language.
Thank you for sharing that.
While reporting this story, I got a recruiting message from the same company. So I did an interview to see what Jen's experience was like. I feel like my English is really excellent because I spend all of my time using it.
It sounds like your job as an investigative journalist really enriches your use of the English language.
The company is called Mercor, and it's one of many contractors which connect companies like OpenAI and Google to a distributed workforce to train and improve their AI systems. In the same way the AI boom has led to unprecedented growth in data center construction, it has also created an insatiable appetite for these workers.
AI companies kind of present these tools as digital technology.
Tim Newman is a labor researcher who studies the tech sector.
But this is really the result of an entire global supply chain, everything from mineral extraction to manufacturing to data centers and the data workers.
For years, tech companies searched for data workers largely outside the US, in low-wage countries like Kenya and collapsing economies like Venezuela. But that is shifting as AI companies push to build more capable systems.
With GPT-5, now it's like talking to an expert, a legitimate PhD level expert that can help you with whatever your goals are.
So one of the big narratives that's developing in the AI space is that in order to make the next big leap forward, what they need to do is fit the use case for very specific industries.
We've gone from maybe the models being like a smart high school student to really starting to get at the PhD level.
So in order to make these kind of leaps forward, the companies are really seeking out people with expertise.
AI firms are looking for expertise in pretty much everything because their models are only as good as what they're trained on.
We're lacking consistency, so you often hear some of our competitors talk about, these modern systems that we have today are PhD intelligences. I think that's a nonsense. They have some capabilities that are PhD level, but they're not in general capable.
By catering to this demand, the 4 largest data work startups have each had gross revenue of roughly $1 billion a year.
Oh my goodness. Annual gross revenue of $1 billion a year. There you go. Sometimes a little more. All right. All right. Would you ever work for an AI company? Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat.
Scale AI claims to have more than 700,000 graduates at its disposal, while Mercor says it has around 30,000 active professionals, like Jen.
We all get a message in our group comms where it's like, actually, like, this contract is ending.
2 weeks after Jen started her first project, right before her graduation, Mercor pulled the rug.
So I'm like, what do I do? Like, can I even afford this? Should I not get this dinner to celebrate my graduation anymore?
The next month, Mercor offered her a second project, but the pay had dropped to $45 an hour. When she pushed back, she was ghosted.
Lynn H says, no, I don't trust AI. Yeah. Yep. Waffle Jack says, the money seems good, but I watched Terminator 2 too much. Can't help. Can't go helping Skynet. There you go.
A few months later, Mercor offered her $35 an hour.
I signed it, even though last year I would have found it so offensive.
She had learned her lesson. With this kind of work, you have to take whatever you're offered. And if you're ever offered a high-paying task, it's a race against the clock.
My last contract from Mercor offered me $101 an hour. I told the teacher, you're not going to see me next week because I'm going to try to max out all these hours before they end the roll. I did those 40 hours, roll ended the next day.
Dang.
I shouldn't have to do that. No one should have to do that. Like, just disrupt everything. It's predatory.
Paying up to $400 per hour because progress comes from you.
This is an industry that really...
It's a little weird though. That person was... Their voice was changed. Their face wasn't shown. So it's a little weird to see how accurate this actually is, you know?
Seems to rely on precarious workers wherever they exist.
Last year, Tim and his colleagues conducted a study of data workers across the country. They found that 86% struggled to meet their financial responsibilities. A quarter of them relied on public assistance programs like Medicaid and food stamps.
I can't afford to go to the doctor. It feels like I'm rationing my ADHD medication for when I'm able to get back to someone consistently.
More than 1 in 5 had experienced homelessness. And overall, the workers reported median earnings of less than $23,000 a year. In 2021, Alexander Wang, the former CEO of Scale, became the world's youngest self-made billionaire. Last year, he was unseated by the 3 22-year-old founders of Mercor.
Do you hire people that currently work for like investment banks or game designers or stuff like that?
Occasionally that would happen, but for the most part, it would be people that previously worked at those companies.
Here I've got like the homepage, and then this is just like a big list of all the projects that I've been offered.
Ozzy is a college graduate in Oregon who majored in philosophy and worked on Surge AI's platform.
The point of it was just that somebody should be able to ask absolutely anything about absolutely anything, and it should be able to understand and do that. So that was my job, is to be able to read absolutely anything and then answer absolutely anything. I read the entirety of Dracula in 3 hours, and then I had like 30 minutes to grade this picture book that was like absolute dog water.
At first, he liked the wide-ranging nature of the work, but then he received a project codenamed Arsenic.
I watch horror movies. I think I know what I'm getting into, and it just comes up with the most monstrous of things.
It required him to review violent AI-generated videos.
It was 2 dudes murdering a golden retriever with their bare hands. There was like weird videos of people constructing like furniture out of humans, like no.
That's super traumatizing, dude. They should... Goodness gracious. Oh my... That's so bad. My goodness. And they're making these guys do this? Horrible people, man. Horrible people. Bring out this cat. Slap that. We're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat.
Celebrities would be in a jail cell, bleeding out with extreme gore, and I would have nightmares honestly for a couple weeks after that.
I asked Surge AI about this project, and its spokeswoman claimed its platform does not involve any graphic content. But that contradicts the documentation Ozzy shared with me. He also thought it was strange that he was often asked to perform tasks he was not qualified for.
They were just so incredibly niche and specialized. Can you help us with this calculus homework or this massive math problem, and then straight to a biology thing. And I'm I'm not an expert in any of this. People go to grad school for counseling. I thought about it for 20 minutes, and then I came up with your answer about whether you should reconnect with your abusive father.
What I heard from Ozzy and Jen is distinctly similar to what data workers outside the US have told me. There's a reason for that.
There are hundreds of contract companies, and they're all working for a small number of top clients at the top of the AI supply chain.
It starts at the top, with AI firms seeking to get the best bang for their buck for this kind of labor. To compete for contracts from those AI giants, the data work companies are incentivized to keep their costs and commitments low.
When you're platform jumping all over the place, you feel like you don't have any power or room to stand up and say, hey, this isn't right. I'm working 13 hours a day and I might be making $40.
Crystal Kaufman is a longtime data worker who now researches labor conditions in the industry. She joined her first platform after illness pulled her out of traditional work.
I was working for one platform at the time, and then before I knew it, to actually make money to pay bills and things, it became a case of jumping from platform to platform as all of these smaller platforms.
Serial worker. Look at this woman.
Appeared.
It's not a coincidence that data workers often come from vulnerable backgrounds, whether those on food stamps, without housing.
Hugh, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Or with disability.
When you're at that point, and I remember being at that point, you take what you can get.
We're describing a world of work that is really about this new mechanism. It's dismantling full-time employment.
In 2019, a researcher named Mary Gray gave me a haunting warning. Data work could represent the beginning of the Uberization of all knowledge work. On a relentless quest to consume the world's expertise and become its sole provider, Silicon Valley would seek to create a gig version of every job, to acquire bits of knowledge as cheaply as possible from a growing underclass.
Thank you, Barney. Appreciate it. Happy to have you on board, buddy. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat. We got something from Ty Grayson saying, what camera are you using? I'm using the FX3. And yeah, if you become a member and I think it's the inner circle, then I do private live streams showing my studio and lighting and all those types of things. You just got to ask the questions of what you want to see and how I can help you with anything. And I will help you. Audio, all those good types of things. Even with some of these music sounds you hear in the background. All right, y'all. Let's learn something.
That could eventually include most of us.
We see a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter.
The whole ecosystem around Silicon Valley is very much based on this idea that computers are superior to humans. Most humans are unnecessary.
What? Come on, dude.
Darren Acemoglu is an economist.
Was it this dude who said that?
Silicon Valley is very much based on this idea.
Darren Acemoglu, MIT Institute professor. Shame on him, dude. How do you say that about humans? We gotta do a little research on this guy. Darren Acemoglu. Dirtbag. Shame on him.
Idea that computers are superior to humans. Most humans are unnecessary.
Darren Acemoglu is an economist who has extensively researched the effect of AI on the
Or did I completely misunderstand him?
labor market. He told me that the AI industry's drive for automation is fueled not only by profit motives, but also by an ideology.
There is a sort of elitist attitude towards most workers. People think that the best way you can use AI is more automation, and just the less human input there is, the better.
No human CEO can talk to every employee at a company, every customer, be in every meeting, be an expert in every field. And so more and more, I think, of these jobs will be...
This guy over here, man. This guy. You got Lord Alcatraz saying, if your job gets replaced with AI, you were a redundancy in the ladder. There you go. There you go. We got Harvey jumping on the chat saying, the vote against TrumpRx is a bunch of liberal, lost sinners. Do you agree or disagree? Hugh, thank you for the 10 jewels. Appreciate it, buddy. We're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat. He got this info from Yuval Harari, direct from Arrow Cosmos, man. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Oh, we got Hugh using the gaslight emoji, saying this guy is gaslighting for sure.
Supervising a bunch of AI.
Right now, we are choosing to use AI as an automation technology. It creates a vicious cycle whereby more and more of the tasks start being taken by AI. And on the way to that, we need human workers to train AI models.
It looks like this. Employers cite AI as a reason to lay off workers. Tech firms hire those increasingly desperate workers for cheap to train AI.
Now, the kind of inequality that we're talking about here could be something we've never experienced. A handful of corporations controlling most of work, and a large fraction of workers essentially completely sidelined from meaningful work. That is a choice. That's not...
We got Waffle Jackson jumping on the chat saying AI is probably going to take over a few fields and jobs, but there's certain jobs AI and robots just can't replace. Teach your kids to cook, folks. Some things need a human touch. There you go. What are the things can AI not take over? Which jobs can AI not take over? We're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat.
It's the nature of the AI technology itself. We can use AI for other things. Rather than automate teaching, we can give teachers tools so that they can provide individualized education in a much cheaper and effective form. We can have pro-nurse AI, meaning AI tools that increase the capabilities of nurses for diagnosis, cure, and treatment, but those options are not being exploited.
But in its quest to ingest the world's knowledge, Silicon Valley has a problem.
Lord Alcatraz says, imagine if your job was just training AI to take your job. Oh my goodness, seriously, bro. Yeah, housekeeping. Well done, Lynn. Preaching the true word of God, Harvey Chambliss. That's true.
The AI industry is dependent on the very workers it exploits. Data workers have leverage, and some of them are already...
There you go, Pumpkioni jumping on the chat saying, I have that pic in my Ozempic box if you like. I just noticed the absolute full price here is $130. All right, so the full price of that box is $130 instead of $7.50, or the price of Ozempic box is $130 if you don't go through your insurance or whatever plan you get. Like, how do you get it for so cheap in Australia? Thank you so much, buddy. Takumi has just entered the chat. There you go, buddy. How you doing? How you doing?
Using it. Crystal was the lead organizer of
Amen, Harvey. Direct from Waffle Jackson.
Opticon, one of the first efforts to build power to improve labor conditions on Amazon's platform. On some issues, they won.
We fought very hard for a change to the rejections policy. To get a corporation like that to actually listen to workers was almost surreal. We absolutely have to have some type of global coalition collectively demanding.
All right, thank you, Pumpkiono.
Better conditions.
For hundreds of thousands of far-flung data workers to organize will be an enormous challenge. But
nice, Jason Beatrice. Well done. Jason says, Ozempic was my second greatest investment. Quick money, quick money. Good man, good man. Do you have any idea of where people should invest in now? Anyone have any good ideas on where to invest now?
Advocates like Tim believe there are models in recent history that workers can look to.
Once workers started organizing in the garment sector, we've seen them creating powerful coalitions globally, including with consumers, with investors, with students.
There you go. We got Harvey Chambliss saying, I'm an estimator. I had a company reach out to me to teach AI how to do my job. No thanks. There you go.
A new bill introduced in California this year borrows from that kind of strategy.
This is AB 2653, the California Sweatshop Free AI Procurement Act.
There you go. We got Jacob Nisa jumping in on the chat saying, invest in yourself, make the world better, not make yourself richer. 100%, buddy. Very philosophical.
Ensure that when the state of California is procuring an...
Oh my God. Sounds like there's a little bit of scamming happening in Australia too. Pump Kiono says the only way you get charged full price is with insurance. Laughing out loud. My goodness. There's a story about someone who was charged like an exceedingly amount of money for taking his daughter in an ambulance, and then like, oh well, you know, it's $500 now, yada yada. And he's like, I know my insurance, I just don't have my insurance card. He called his insurance and then told his insurance he had to pay like something like $10,000 for that. He's like, no, I want to go back to where I don't have insurance. And then the insurance company's like, well, now you, or the medic company was like, you told me you have insurance, now we have to charge you that $10,000 instead of $500. There's so many scams going on, so many. I'm just going to be so happy when all of this is fixed. Like it's just going to be absolutely brilliant. We're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat. And Humongous agrees. He says, I saw that. It's crazy. Yeah, super sad story, bro.
AI tool, the data work that created those systems, actually complied with certain labor standards.
This is simply about how we are spending taxpayer dollars, and it should not go to AI companies who...
Jason Beatrice jumping on the chat saying medicine and steroid treatments. There you go. Are you talking about like steroid treatments for bodybuilding or steroid for the other uses of steroids for actual physical improvement, not aesthetic visual improvement?
Exploit their workers, whether they're here in California or anywhere else in the world.
There's a narrative about how the AI companies operate that this technology is inevitable. That is not the case. All of us shape the future of technology, and what's most important.
All right, so allegedly Darren Acemoglu is one of the most important economists alive. He is the guy you study when asking why do some countries become rich while others collapse. His core idea, his big argument, countries are not mainly rich or poor because of race, weather, religion, or luck. They rise or fall because of institutions. There's inclusive institutions, rule of law, property rights, fair courts, broad opportunity, innovation, people can build wealth. And then there's the extractive institutions, corrupt elites, rigged courts, stolen resources, crony monopolies, censorship, fear, wealth pulled upward. There you go. There you go. So the inclusive institutions versus the extractive institutions. Those bastards. Acemoglu's work explains why two places can have similar geography and people, but radically different outcomes. His noble work focused on how colonial-era institutions created long-term differences in prosperity. We got some criticisms. Critics say Acemoglu sometimes overweights institutions and underweights geography, natural resources, disease, culture, war, and geopolitics. The strongest criticism is China. It grew massively under authoritarian politics, which complicates the simple inclusive democracy equals prosperity story. Very, very good argument. So the thing people miss is Acemoglu is not saying democracy magically makes countries rich. He is saying prosperity requires institutions that stop elites from stealing the future. That's a great one. He is saying prosperity requires institutions that stop elites from stealing the future. So I guess Darren Acemoglu's whole message is this: poverty is not destiny. Oil is not destiny. culture is not destiny. The question is, who controls the rules? If the rules reward builders, a nation rises. If the rules reward thieves, a nation collapses, even if it's sitting on gold, oil, or genius. Do you agree or disagree with Darren Acemoglu?
Is that we start working together to be sure that the future of work.
All right, Hugh, good to see you, buddy.
And the future of technology at work is one that, benefits all of us and makes our jobs better, not leading to a race to the bottom purely to enrich a.
Barney saying, I paid $12.50 for mine a month, lost 86 pounds in 10 months, feeling great now. Good job, Barney. Happy for you. Where are you located? You don't have to say exact city, but country, I guess, if you feel comfortable. There you go. We got Drain the Swamp. 888 says Trump. There you go, buddy.
A handful of very wealthy billionaires in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Acemoglu is an economist.
I just want to see
People
this
buy it from us
one more sec.
on a meter.
The whole ecosystem around Silicon Valley is very much based on this idea that computers are superior to humans. Most humans are unnecessary.
Okay, because it didn't make sense when I was reading. He said what Silicon Valley thinks, not what he thinks. Okay. So, excuse me if because I was reading this about him. I was like, he seems like a very level-headed guy. Why did I bring the heat? But he was talking about what Silicon Valley thinks, not what he thinks. So I sit corrected one more time. Thank the Lord I went back to see. But very cool, very cool. All right. So we're going live every day of 2026.
Welcome
Make sure
to
you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw them in the super chat if you want. This one's not working for me.
Your Morning Minute, sponsored by United RV Centers. Georgia voters are heading to the polls today for some closely watched primary races. On the Republican side, 8 candidates are competing to replace Governor Brian Kemp. Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff is running unopposed as several Republicans compete for the chance to challenge him in the general election. And we're following another explosion at an industrial plant in Bradley County. Cleveland Fire Department crews were called Saturday night to Amero Advanced Materials and Manufacturing in McDonald. Police say firefighters put out a small fire inside the facility and no one was hurt. This comes just days after a separate explosion there injured 2 workers. And as the weather gets warmer, check your...
There you go. W's in the chat for a woman who actually looks like a woman. I love seeing this.
Yourself for ticks. Federal data shows weekly ER visits for tick bites have reached their highest level since 2017.
Uh-oh, careful those tick bites. Never know what you can get. Barney Bell says, FLA, is that Florida? But I'm retired and my Medicare pays for most of it. Okay, very cool.
Last month, there were at least 104 visits, while 68 visits were recorded back in 2025.
Okay. All right. Harvey saying modernization is what makes you need money. We could all go back to racing for the best 5 acres and work with what is in the land. 80% would die in the first 6 weeks. Sad. Oh, that's a response to Wolfraza. Money is paper with funny pictures on it. It's only worth as much as we all agree it is. They broke money a while ago just pretending it's not broken. F money. Most unintelligent concept ever. Well, thank you for your super chat. cheers from San Diego. There was just something pretty bad happening in San Diego. But, you know, money is something that we all agree on, and a way to pay for things and a way to trade time for things. So what's your solution? What's better than money? I guess that's the real question. Would like to see what you think. Yeah, we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. So, who was it? Lord Alcatraz just brought up San Diego. Some sad things happen in San Diego, man. Sad things. she looks like she might be on some prescription drugs in this instant, but let's see how she looks when she starts talking.
Well, this morning, a search for answers after 2 teenage suspects.
No, she looks sober.
Opened fire on an Islamic center in San Diego, killing 3 adults. Authorities say they are investigating the attack as a hate crime. Gwen Baumgartner has more.
San Diego police arrived at the Islamic Center just before noon after receiving calls about an active shooter.
Maybe around 30 shots, that's what we heard.
Police found 3 deceased adults when they arrived, one of them a beloved security guard.
He was a nice person, having a smile with everybody.
As officers swept the center, which houses a mosque and school, children were rushed to safety under police escort.
I felt a bit scared. My legs were shaking.
At the same time, there were reports of more gunshots.
We received calls of a vehicle a couple blocks away that was shooting at a landscaper. The landscaper is going to be okay, but we are still investigating that scene. It appears he may have been shot in the helmet that deflected and saved his life.
Near the scene, the suspects, a 17 and 18-year-old male, were found dead in a vehicle from what authorities believe were self-inflicted gunshot wounds.
Law enforcement has yet to
W's in the chat for another girl that looks like a girl. All right.
confirm a motive, but they have said that during their investigation, they found a connection between one of the suspected shooters and...
Lynn H says eternal life is better than money. There you go. There you go.
hate-related rhetoric.
2 hours before the shooting, the mother of one of the suspects reported him missing, fearing he was suicidal.
Several of her weapons were missing. Her vehicle was missing. Her son was with a companion. They were dressed in camo.
Law enforcement vehicles were spotted outside one of the suspects' homes. The FBI is asking the community for tips as investigators search for answers. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, San Diego.
So sad. So sad.
More officers will be guarding places of worship to assure safety. Temple Israel in Michigan, which was also targeted earlier this year, said yesterday's attack is one of the reasons why one of its rabbis was in D.C. yesterday.
We got R. Wilson. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for jumping in on the chat, saying ordered from my mom's meds with her on TrumpRx. Seems to work. Saves her $108 for the month. Delivered to her house. Home. Good. Great. There you go. We got some actual news. There you go. R. Wilson says it's not the gun, it's the person. Absolutely.
Lobbying for $1 billion to protect houses of worship nationwide.
All right, we got a. Oh, that was the update in Georgia, right? Was that the update in Georgia? I think we got that one.
Welcome to.
Yeah, we did. The UK will burn if they release this. What are you talking about? Let's see.
A Sikh man stabbed an 18-year-old university student to death with an 8-inch ceremonial knife after claiming he had been racially abused. After he was stabbed, Mr. Nowak tried to climb a fence to escape. The police were called to the scene but arrested Mr. Nowak after Diwa
All right, Barney. Thanks for being here, buddy.
said that he had been racially abused. So they handcuffed the guy. They handcuffed the guy that got stabbed? Is this real?
This 18-year-old boy called Henry Novak drowned in his own blood while he lay handcuffed and passed out on the street. He was stabbed multiple times by a man called Vikram Digwa, 23.
Vikram Digwa, 23. John Lamoureux says white right-wing violence. Not going to comment on that. What happened? Is this a right-winger over here? Goodness gracious. Violence is not good from any side, left, right, up, down.
With an 8-inch Sikh ceremonial.
What the fuck?
Henry tries to escape. He climbs a bin, fence, and car. He leaves a trail of blood.
What
a video
the fuck?
taken by Digwa, the Sikh.
Let Freedom Ring says, was Jesus a victim of white right-wing violence? Good question, good question. Who can answer that?
Shows Henry climbing while Digwa comments on the scene. Digwa tells arriving police that Henry had racially assaulted him. He claimed Henry knocked off his turban in a drunken racist attack.
Right, and then he stabbed him a bunch of
Henry
times.
had drank less than the legal limit to go driving.
So that's not even true then. They checked his blood.
The officers on site come and they handcuff Henry, who's bleeding out, believing him the aggressor based on Digwa's accusations. Henry collapses unconscious while handcuffed. So you had this Indian Sikh stab Henry with his religious knife that for some reason these Indians are allowed to carry. When police arrive...
Why do they let him carry the knives? Sikhs are allowed to carry huge knives because of their religion?
Digwa pretends he hadn't stabbed him. He cuts his own face and his mother hides the...
Wait, they didn't call an ambulance.
That's a weird thing. If he cuts his own face and he starts to hide and he's lying about it, there's something shady going on over here.
Said they tried to hide evidence and pretend Henry had attacked him.
All right, Pumpkino, have a good night, buddy.
Digwa had slashed his own cheek. Prosecution says he knew what he had done and he didn't call an ambulance. Digwa's mother allegedly filmed removing the knife from the scene and taking it to the family home. Henry's phone is found in Digwa's pocket. Okay. Sikh religion allows them to carry a blade, which is ironic. Well, that's retarded.
The police...
So the guy actually stole his phone after he inserted the knife?
Based on that testimony, handcuff Henry while he bleeds out and dies in his own blood.
Well, then
while Digwa accused Henry of racism and pretending that he never stabbed him. This
is awful. It's just an 8-inch knife, right? That's like this big, right? I mean, that's pretty fucking big. So this is the guy
He said 18-inch knife?
that got stabbed. Just a regular ass guy. Bro, all the Sikhs carry these knives? I mean, like, this is my opinion.
21 centimeter. No, that's maybe an 8-inch, right? Not 18.
I don't think that you should have a religious exemption for carrying a knife. They should be able to carry the knife because anybody can carry the knife. But like, if they have some sort of exclusive privilege that they can carry...
Yeah, 21 centimeters is 8.26 inches.
...carry a knife, but nobody else can, that's retarded. So let me go back, I'll look at this here, 911 call. Digwa's brother was saying, we just been attacked by someone racially. Jurors had...
Pumpkino, thank you, buddy, appreciate it.
Now been shown 2 more videos taken in the aftermath. Digwa was heard saying, no one stabbed you, bro. A second video played to the court. Digwa's father can be heard in saying, he's pretending? Now he's trying to get up and going to leave. Yeah, probably because he got stabbed. How did the wallet end up in his pocket? Why is the mom stealing evidence away from the fucking... the phone. Sorry, it's the phone that ended up in his pocket. And you have this for everybody else. Let me see here.
We begin with breaking news. The government has banned ninja sword.
They don't need to ban ninja swords. They need to ban the ninjas. That's the real problem. Because if they don't have ninja swords, they're going to use other swords.
True. Do you disagree or agree? Gotta ban the people, not the swords.
Want to ban kitchen knives too? Kitchen knives could be seized from homes under crackdown on dangerous weapons. I think we have a bit of a problem. That is a bit of a problem. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a wild one, man. And who's inspiring the immigrants just to go back there? You know, like what? Obviously, it's for the votes, right? These dirty politicians want these votes, so yeah, that's the deal right there. We got Xi sending a warning to the U.S. No, dude, that's not true. That can't be true. Xi was just saying, I love the U.S.
So President Trump back from his historic trip.
And I love the U.S. Army, right?
To China with
or the military.
Slew of deals on the table. So let's break it down. So here we go. Establish a bilateral board of investment. So we've been meeting with them haphazardly, but not kind of erratically. Now there's going to be consistent meetings on all things, especially things that are so-called white deals. That means technological.
Dylan Hill jumping in on the chat saying 8 inches is over legal limit in most cities, usually 3 to 5 inches. Is that in the UK or United States?
And national security not involved with it. 200 Boeing jets. At first, we didn't hear anything from China because we heard about a 200 jet sale. We wanted 500, and maybe the stock for Boeing went down. But keep in mind, China makes their own jets now. They don't need as many. But the key is they have committed to buying the GE engines, which many people thought Donald Trump had got ahead of himself. He didn't. They just announced it after he left. Buying agricultural products. I want to see the execution, but $17 billion a year for the next few years, pretty impressive. Then they're going to renew expired listings. This is big. So they were upset about what we were putting or supposedly putting into.
This is a little interesting. In California, the folding pocket knives, no blade length limit. If it relies on a manual folding mechanism, you can conceal carry these of any size provided the blade is completely folded. Fixed blade, no length limit, but they cannot be concealed. You must carry them openly in a sheath worn on the waist. Switchblades and automatic knives. Any automatic or spring-loaded knife with a blade of 2 inch or longer is strictly illegal to carry, possess, or transfer. So switchblades and automatic knives are illegal. You cannot carry a knife with a blade longer than 4 inches into state or local public buildings, schools and college campuses. Knives with blades longer than 2.5 inches are generally prohibited. Local municipalities may have stricter regulations than state law. For example, in Los Angeles, you cannot openly carry any knife with a blade 3 inches or longer in plain view on public streets.
To putting into the chickens and cows. Now they said we've come to an agreement on it. So they're going to relist them, some of these facilities, some of these ranches, and they're going to add some to the list. That should make the farmers and ranchers happy and resume imports of poultry from certain U.S. states. So these are some of the things that emerged along with a level of cooperation and understanding. But we also know what we're dealing with. Let's bring in former Trump Deputy National Security Advisor KT McFarland. KT, in terms of tone and temper, it was really outstanding. In terms of tangibles, it's beginning to come in. You've seen a lot of these summits dating back to the Nixon years. How would you rate this one?
Oh, I think this was an A, if not an A+. You know, there's no doubt in President Trump's mind that China is our strategic competitor, our strategic adversary. But that doesn't mean that we can't do business with them and can't trade with them. And so what
By the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, throw in a super chat, become a member.
What is the trade deal that we got something, they got something? What did we get? Well, they're buying our goods. They're buying our agricultural goods. They're buying some of our aircraft, as you just pointed out. And what are we getting from them? Well, we're getting their rare earth minerals, which we don't
There you go. We don't
have. They're not that rare,
we don't have
but we
them.
don't have them. And China.
There you go. That's really important.
Did anyone drop a super chat or become member yet?
Jason Beatrice did. That's right. But we didn't get any members
Please
tonight yet.
support this channel, drop a super chat, and become a member.
Yeah, girl. Thank you so much. Go tell Veronica I'll ask her to come out again when someone drops a super chat or becomes a member.
It was very smartly cornered the world supply of rare earth minerals. And they're essential in every manufacturing, everything from intercontinental ballistic missiles to your cell phone. So we don't have them. We need to get our own. But until we get our own, we've got to buy China's. The other things that are important in this deal is that the Chinese have access to the American market without the huge tariffs. They need that. They need someplace to sell their goods. On the other hand, we need to have a relationship with them that doesn't cause another war. It's as if we say, okay, we're putting everything on hold. We're going to put everything on hold. We're going to do business while we can, but we're going to continue to compete in the major ways that we compete.
So we got to think about Taiwan. You can't talk about China and not talk about Taiwan. That thriving democracy off its coast is part of one China, but yet it's independent. Japan, South Korea care, and Philippines and Australia care as much, if not more, than us. Axios says Trump advisors fear China may target Taiwan within the next 5 years. They told President Xi they think that President Xi is trying to move China to a new position where he's saying, we're not a rising power, we're your equal, and Taiwan is mine.
All right, Wilson, thank you, buddy. Have a good day.
And the president has said, I'm going to think about the $14 billion in weapons that they paid for, about delivering them. Maybe the better answer would have been, we don't discuss that. But I thought Robert Gates, with all his experience in Washington, he held every job, including Secretary of Defense for Obama and Bush, said this about China possibly invading.
They could create a blockade or a quarantine around Taiwan anytime they wanted, what the Taiwanese call an anaconda strategy. And it would strangle Taiwan over time. I don't think they want to go in and attack Taiwan. They don't want to destroy the very chip factories they want to take over. So, and then there's cyber. There are all kinds of pressures.
Yeah.
There isn't one single Chinese general or admiral today that has 1 day of combat experience.
And he goes on to say, since 1979, and they got their butt kicked by Vietnam.
Wild.
He fired everybody. He fired a plethora of generals and his Secretary of Defense.
You know, here's the thing. If you're the Chinese leader, you've got to look at what the United States is just pulling off in Iran. The unbelievable precision, the capability, how everything seems to work together. We seem to have done the miraculous. Even Xi Jinping pointed out that
if China gets Taiwan, that's going to be devastating for the United States. Good for China, absolutely great for China. Their AI technology is going to be unreal, and the whole world might be speaking Mandarin, Chinese, if that happens. So wild. This is such an important situation.
Blockade that Iran might have closed the strait, but we did the blockade. They've got to look at that and say, look, we're no match for America militarily. And I think President Trump did exactly he took the right line. I wish he hadn't talked about arms sales to Taiwan. I would have left that a little more ambiguous. But President Trump then talked about, we want to move the chip factories back to America.
All right, so when Xi says Taiwan is his red line, do not hear romance, hear strategy. He's not flirting with history. He's warning the United States where China may test power. The smart American answer is not panic and not weakness. It's clarity, peace, deterrence, no forced takeover, and no pretending Taiwan's 23 million people are furniture in someone else's empire.
He didn't talk about independence for Taiwan. He kind of put Taiwan on notice, saying, cool the rhetoric. Don't talk about independence. And he really did, I think he continued this idea of strategic ambiguity. We're not going to necessarily promise to go to war to defend.
Yeah, Kurt says, you hear about Lake Tahoe losing water from AI data centers? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Horrible. We got Michael saying, no one cares about what China wants. There you go. Kurt says, next big war is going to be AI and water. We got Shen saying, after seeing the total disaster in Iran, I believe Taiwan knows the U.S. cannot protect them and will negotiate a reunification with the mainland. What do you think, chat? Do you agree or disagree with Shen?
Defend China, but we're not promising not to go to war. And at the same time, the first phone calls President Trump made when he got back on that plane were to our allies in Asia, particularly to Japan, to give them assurance that we're not leaving Asia. That's a major maritime trade route that we want to have part of.
Yeah, we're not leaving Asia. So it's not just about land, it's about ships, sea lanes, United States credibility, Japan, the Philippines, and whether powerful countries can redraw borders by force. CFR warns Taiwan is the issue most likely to bring the U.S. and China into direct military confrontation.
We're not leaving Taiwan to China, but we're going to shore up our alliances. We're fixing our military, and we want to make sure that we have the rare earth supply chain that we need, and we also want to bring those chips, those important chips that Bob Gates mentioned, bring those back to America.
Yeah, and South Korean leader also called and talked to the president. I think they felt better after they had that conversation. Thanks so much, KT. Appreciate it.
So the U.S. position is deliberately complicated. America recognizes Beijing as China's government, does not formally recognize Taiwan as an independent country, but does provide Taiwan defensive support and treats non-peaceful coercion as a grave concern. Taiwan has about 23 million people, and the U.S. is weighing major arms sales, including a reported pending $14 billion United States dollars package. That is not small diplomacy. That is war prevention mathematics right there. So Xi, the president of China, is saying Taiwan is China's red line. And America is saying Taiwan should not be taken by force. Taiwan is saying our future is for our own people to decide. And Reuters reported Taiwan continues to reject China's sovereignty claims and sees U.S. arms as vital for deterrence. Xi reportedly warned Trump if Taiwan is handled badly, the U.S. and China could collide or enter conflict, pushing relations into an extremely dangerous place. Reuters says China called Taiwan the core flashpoint, while the U.S. summary did not mention Taiwan. Kurt says Trump addressed the president of Taiwan as their leader instead of president. I think something brewing. Yeah, could be something brewing right there. You were talking about Lake Tahoe. Here's Lake Tahoe.
I want to show you.
There we go. By the way, we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat.
You something that I just learned about that I think is extremely alarming, where in Lake Tahoe, 50,000 residents have just been informed that in 2027, their energy provider is abandoning them to focus solely on the energy demands of the AI data centers in the area. And this is the first example, the first big example of just an energy company that 50,000 people rely on to live, just hitting that Harry Houdini vibe and vanishing on them, saying, don't really care about you plebeians, we gotta go take care of AI. I mean, good luck out there though, maybe you'll find other power suppliers, but it won't be us. Bye-bye. The energy supplier for the Lake Tahoe region is telling the utility company that it has less than a year to find another power source. Which shouldn't be a problem. They maybe just need to dig a few feet underground to find the Tesseract, and maybe they can install that. Surely that won't be a huge issue. It's always been abundantly clear companies don't give a fuck about you or anything, but now that companies see a way of cutting you out while still driving up their own profits, they are frothing at the mouth for it and jumping on board. They are abandoning ship on people because they don't need people anymore thanks to AI.
How many hours?
I mean, good luck out there though. Maybe you'll find Lion to live, just hitting that Harry Houdini vibe and vanishing on them, saying, don't really care about you plebeians, we gotta go take care of AI. I mean, good luck out there though, maybe you'll find other power suppliers, but it won't be us. Extremely alarming, where in Lake Tahoe, 50,000 residents have just been informed that in 2027, their energy provider is abandoning them to focus
7 months to find new energy. Bad thing, they gotta figure out a way to get some energy. Good thing, business situation, however you can get energy there is a good thing to probably invest in, right? Wild, wild, wild. And we're going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. There were a few fights that just happened, and John Jones was there. And if you're wondering what John Jones thinks about MVP promotions, we're going to hear it directly from him.
I thought the MVP promotion was absolutely unbelievable. I think it was actually better than the UFC. I've never been at such a promotion. I mean, they had the fog machines and the TVs absolutely everywhere. Great fighters. I think half the audience came.
There was a pretty cool buzz going on, but something about it seemed a little bit. I fell asleep, so I can't really talk too much about it. But from the fights I saw, it seemed like it was a little bit interesting what the refs did, but I didn't really see too many problems. Kurt says the stadium was empty. I know for the prelims, I saw the Pereira fight against that one OF girl. That was a interesting fight. And the stadiums are pretty empty. But as far as the main event, I didn't even look it up. I didn't. I saw highlights of Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. That was a 17-second armbar. Finally, Ronda Rousey just goes into it. I saw the post fight with Nick Diaz and Mike Perry, but I didn't actually see the fight or anything. But yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. It seems like MVP is putting some pressure on UFC, and they're allegedly paying their fighters a little bit more. And I heard mixed reports regarding that.
Came out to see Diaz win. Both those guys are my personal friends, so it was bittersweet.
What do you think about the takedown by Ronda so quickly with Gina?
Ronda did absolutely unbelievable. She did exactly how I thought she would do. Won in less than a minute. I think it was 17 seconds. And I predicted it. Her judo and her jiu-jitsu, she's put so many years into it.
And Kurt says, my wife said Ronda looked like a surfboard. There you go. What do you mean by a surfboard? She was just super flat?
But the other girls still, to this day, are very far behind.
There you go. That's pretty cool. It's always good to see some competition, right?
Miriam Adelson is spending whatever it takes.
What she got? She's got some diamonds on her. Yeah, she's got the... Yeah. She's got diamonds on her. She's got diamonds on her glasses. She's one of those people that spends a lot of money on politicians. Let's see what she has to say.
To take the seat away from him because he committed the crime of describing how things actually work in the U.S. Congress. Anyone who gets the idea that maybe I'll get to Congress and tell the truth about how things actually work, you'll be crushed. If they are successful in doing this, crushing a man, defaming a man, slandering a man, attacking his family, purely for the crime of telling the truth about them, about how they operate, about the nature of the Epstein class, then you have
Ooh, dropping some heat. That's dangerous, right?
to wonder, why are we voting in the first place? What is the point of all of this?
Yeah.
Is there a reason to participate in the process? If in the end, some Israeli casino lady can come in and just determine the outcome, that's not democracy.
Israeli casino lady? Oh my God. Miriam Adelson, huh?
See, it's just straight up teeth-bared oligarchy. It's shut up and obey. And so while we can, it's probably worth doing whatever it takes within the bounds of the law to prevent that from happening. Because crushing Thomas Massie for the crime of telling the truth is itself a moral crime. And yet in Washington, the only people who are punished are those who told the truth. And at some point that has to stop, or the system itself lacks all.
Yeah, she's a big donor for all these people, so can't go against that woman, allegedly, right? Revised Iranian proposal to end the war. All right. Let's see it.
Did anyone drop a super chat or become member yet?
Yeah, Jason Beatrice did, for sure.
Please support this channel, drop a super chat, and become a member.
There you go. There you go. No audio in this one. from 9 hours ago, but okay. There you go. Hopefully the Iranian war stops ASAP.
Welcome back.
Oh, W's in the chat for another female. It looks like a female happening to be on Fox News. We got Lee84 saying IMPD with the FBI shocked most of the FBI are missing three quarters of their brain mass. Must be Russian intelligence or something. Oh well. Or swamp gas. Oh, we got some trolling in the chat. There we go.
The Republican primary for Louisiana's U.S. Senate race is now in the
Harvey says, yes, the stadium was empty until the headline. Thank you. Didn't know that. Appreciate it.
hands of Republican voters. A political analyst says the primary results made one thing clear: conservative credentials matter. The question now is which candidate has what it takes to earn Republicans' trust. Fox 33's Maya Alicia spoke with a political analyst to learn what is at stake in the runoff.
Cassidy's biggest sin was the impeachment.
In the runoff.
All right, so let's see. We got Miriam Adelson is what happens when money, media, medicine, Israel policy, casino power, and presidential politics all meet in one person. She's not elected, but if you're tracking who can move American policy from behind the curtain, she is absolutely on the board. And Miriam Adelson is that lady Tucker Carlson was just talking about.
Cassidy's biggest sin was the impeachment vote against President Trump.
The Louisiana Senate race has reached the runoff phase, and two Republicans are vying to convince voters that they are the right choice for the next.
Dual loyalty should be illegal. Spy. She loved me on payday. There you go. Do y'all agree or disagree?
6 years. Political analyst Stephen Parr says Senator Bill Cassidy's defeat sent a clear message about what Louisiana's Republican base is demanding from its next senator.
This is what the Republicans are looking for. And what they're really looking for is someone that they can trust to be conservative all the time. But there were some other big spending votes that he did that just reinforced the idea that he was not a conservative.
All right, Harvey.
That he was not a real Republican, but more what they call Republican in name only.
Two former members of Congress are making their case. Parr says John Fleming is leaning on his time inside the Trump White House.
John Fleming is going to try and point to some of his experiences having worked in the Trump White House before as a deputy chief of staff. He's going to be pointing to his long experience in business.
He says Representative Letlow is taking a different approach.
Julia Letlow is going to point to her endorsement from Donald Trump. And she's going to say, if you're looking for someone that Donald Trump trusts, I'm that person. That's why you should vote for me.
While he says national politics is driving much of the conversation, there are local issues too.
We've had carbon capture as a big issue. Both Letlow and Fleming, and even to some extent Cassidy, have said that they were opposed to carbon capture. Cassidy, not quite as convincingly, simply because he voted for funding measures for carbon capture that's going on here in the state of Louisiana.
And what about the voters who backed Cassidy? Parr says they could play a key role in the outcome.
If Bill Cassidy's voters go to the polls, my thinking on this is right now that they would want to vote against the person that Donald Trump endorsed.
The runoff.
Is that what it's all about? Just what Donald Trump endorsed? You know? Oh my goodness, talking about Trump. I think you're going to love this. I think you're going to love this. Oh my goodness. So we're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat. Keep us alive. So nearly 1.8 billion US dollars awarded to Trump allies in IRS funds. Department of Justice reports.
$1.8 billion could be going to President Trump's allies after his Justice Department announced
pays to be an ally of POTUS.
They were establishing a fund for anyone who believes that they have been unfairly targeted by a federal investigation. Now, this agreement was negotiated by the president's personal
Got a little bit of work done, but W's in the chat for a woman that looks like a woman.
lawyers who were handling his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS. And on the other side of the table were Trump administration lawyers from the Justice Department, the White House.
Beautiful shot, the White House right there. Lynn H says there's no point to voting when it's all decided ahead of time. Do you guys agree with that? Is it all decided ahead of time? And we're going live every day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, throw in a super chat, become a member. So many benefits to the members.
And the IRS. There was no outside voice here. Now, they say that anyone with a claim can file for an apology and a possible monetary settlement. They insist there's no partisan requirements, but all of these claims are going to be vetted by a group of 5.
There you go. Harvey jumping on the chat saying very conservative women are the most S3XY. There you go. Do you agree or disagree with Harvey? Absolutely.
5 people selected by the Attorney General. Now, 1 will be selected with Congress, but the president can fire any of these people if he doesn't like what they're doing with this fund. Now, after a decade of reporting on President Trump's various legal entanglements, I can say
we got Just Call Me Bubbles saying EWW. All right. Is that an agree or disagree for Harvey's statement? EWW.
I don't think the average person fully appreciates the extent to which not just the president, but also his lawyer.
And there we go. Is TrumpRx.gov something good for USA? 61% say no, 39% say yes, out of a complete 303 votes.
Lawyers who are now all working in government, that they really believe he was unfairly targeted by these previous criminal investigations. But after looking at the details of the settlement, it's pretty clear that his lawyers may not fully understand the extent to which taxpayers are going to be willing to alleviate these grievances with their own money. Now, this fund is part of an agreement to get the president to drop his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS. The exact amount, though, of this fund is $1.776 billion. I'm told that is a deliberate nod to the nation's upcoming birthday. It's cute, but it's unclear that taxpayers.
And it's so interesting. In the other chat, we have 60% says yes and 40% say no.
Taxpayers are going to find any of this amusing. $776 billion. I'm told that is a deliberate nod to.
And we got Lynn H jumping on the chat saying Christians don't wear makeup, so they have natural beauty. There you go. Being beautiful without makeup. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, so we didn't just watch the trends, right? We kind of decoded the machine. Facts first, logic second, impact third. That is how you stay sane while the internet tries to turn your brain into soup. If you learned something, laughed once, or caught a pattern before the media explained it, tomorrow, hit the like, subscribe, turn on notifications, join the membership, and send a super chat to keep this investigation going alive. And remember, most people scroll past the signal. You stopped, you looked closer, and thought deeper. That is elite. And if people are just drinking too much haterade around you, let that hate roll off of your back like water rolls off of a duck's back. And since we're going live every day of 2026, I'm gonna see you the next time we're live. So take care, put in that mouthpiece if you have to fight for your dreams, and I love you, the Lord loves you,